يا أيها المزمل قم الليل إلا قليلا نصفه أو انقص منه قليلا أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. So we'll continue. This is our 5th episode in this series. And in the last episode, we started Sifat al-Huruf. And we talked about al-Jahr wal-Hamz. And then we've actually completed al-Hamz, فَحَثَّهُ شَخْصٌ سَكَتْ. And the Huruf al-Jar will be the rest of the Arabic alphabet, 18 of them. And what did we say al-Jahr is? Al-Jahr refers to imprisonment of the breath. The breath. That's the flow of the breath as the letter is pronounced, articulated from its articulation point, due to the strong reliance of the letter on its articulation point. So what are the letters of Jar? So the letters of Jahr will be Alif or Hamza, Ba, Jim, Dha, Ra, Za, Dad, Ta, Dha, Ain, Ghain, Qaf, Lam, Mim, Nun, Waw, and Ya. So what are the examples? We'll try and give examples of these letters. For example, for the Hamza, so you say Wassama. So the Hamza is at the very end. And you can see, as we pronounce the Hamza with a sukun at the end, there is no breath. No breath running. Wassama. Okay, we can say قد أفلح المؤمنون. قد أفلح المؤمنون. المؤمنون. So the Hamza after the then there is no breath, absolutely nothing running at the point of pronunciation and stopping on it. قد أفلح المؤمنون. So that's as for the Ba, then Tabbat Yada. So the Ba with the Shadda, as we know in Hams, if there is a Shadda, it's even pronounced. You can, but look at the Ba. Tabbat Yada, Tabbat. So there is no, at the point of pronouncing the Ba with the Shadda, Tab, there is no flow of any air. For the Jim, Al-Hajj, there is no flow of air. Al-Hajj, unlike وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. So there is a clear-cut difference. The Dal, Al-Ahad, the Dha, and this Dha, some people actually make some air to flow, and this is wrong. So, for example, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ. وَإِذْ, so is إِذْ. So there should be no flow of air. It shouldn't be وَإِذْ قَالَ. It should not be وَإِذْ قَالَ. So the makhraj is correct. The makhraj is correct, but a wrong characteristic has been added to it. So it's not وَإِذْ قَالَ. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ. Okay? The Ra, for example, وَالْأَرْض, wal ard. So the ra, there is no flow of air as it comes out. Again, the za, again one could make the same error with the za to make, and remember the za is one of the huruf al-safir together with the sod and the sin. And this, the sod and the sin are both from the huruf al-hamz. So you say as, you say as, but for the za, there should be no air coming out. So one should take note of this. For example, faqad faz, faqad faz. So you should not say faqad faz, such that air comes out. So the breath should not run at that point of pronouncing and stopping on the za. The next one is the dod. We said wal ard, wal ard. There's no, characteristically, it just, there's no way air can flow at that point of articulation. The ta bil qisto, bil qisto. The dha fi lawhim mahfuz, fi lawhim mahfuz, mahfuz. So the air does not keep flowing after that letter has come out. Ain. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. نعبد, نعبد, إياك نعبد. So so at that point there is no, the air does not flow. The ghain, غير المغضوب, غير المغضوب, غير المغضوب. So there is no air flowing. The qaf, اقرأ, اقرأ. So you have a sukun on the qaf there. اقرأ, there's no اقرأ, اقرأ. The next letter is lam. Alhamdulillah. So you have the alif wa lam. The lam has a sukun. Alhamdulillah. So there is no hair flowing. The mim. An'amta, an'amta, an'amta. So at the point of pronouncing the an'amta, then there is no air flowing. The same thing with the nun, the same an'amta, then there is no air flowing. The waw, trying to remember an example of the waw. Al-mawlud, al-mawlud. So, maw, there is no air flowing. Again, the ya, we can use iyyaka na'budu, iyyaka. So, at the point of iyyaka, then there is no air flowing. So, those are the huruf al-jar. Okay, so that's the first pair. That's the first pair, and we've covered all the Arabic alphabet in that first pair. The second pair, and this is not a real pair, but this is how it is usually mentioned. The second pair is al-shidda wa rakhawa. Al-shidda wa rakhawa. And why is it not a real pair? Because there is a middle point. There is a middle category. So in the first instance, al-shidda means something that is strong or strength, al-shidda. And al-rakhawa means soft. It's soft. Okay? So Ashidda wa Rakhawa. And in between them, there is another group called At-Tawassut, just meaning in between. At-Tawassut means in between, or they call it Al-Bayniyya. In between, it means in between. So these three are in the next category we're going to talk about. So what is Al-Shidda? And this is fairly similar to what we've spoken about in Al-Hamz wa Rakhawa. But we take note of the difference. We said Ar-Rakhawa is imprisonment of the breath as the letter is articulated from its articulation point. Ashidda in this instance now, refers to imprisonment of the sound. Not the breath, but the sound. Imprisonment of running of the sound when pronouncing the letter from its articulation point. Because why? Because the letter is shidda, it relies strongly on that articulation point. So when you stop on that letter, the sound is imprisoned. The sound is imprisoned. Whereas ar-rakhawa, which is the soft one, then this refers to running of the sound, not the breath. Running of the sound together with the letter as it is articulated at its articulation point. And again, this becomes apparent when there is a sukun on these letters, and that's how we'll practice it. So as for al-bayniyya or at-tawassut, for these letters, then what happens is there is partial imprisonment of the sound and a partial running of the sound when it is articulated at its articulation point. And this is due to a partial reliance on the articulation point. So this is in between. So for the hurufu shidda, then this we have in the phrase ajid qatin bakat. Ajid qatin bakat. So Hamza, Jim, Dal, Qaf, Ta, qatin, bakat. Ba, Kaf, and Ta. So, and then the middle, the bayniyya, then we have in them Lin Umar. This phrase for the set of letters of al-bayniyya is Lin Umar. Lam, Nun, Ain, Mim, and Ra. So 5 letters. And then the rest will be letters of ar-rakhawa. The rest will be letters of ar-rakhawa. So if we take note of the letters of, if we compare al-hamz, there are 2 letters of al-hamz that we also have in shidda. 2 letters of al-hamz that has in shidda. Al-hamz is what? فَحَثَّهُ شَخْصٌ سَكَتْ. And shidda is ajid qatin bakat. Okay, so the kaf and the ta, they both shidda and hamz. Otherwise, all the letters of al-hamz, they fall into the group of ar-rakhawa, except these 2 letters, kaf and ta. So all the letters of hamz, normally, they are because what is hamz? Hamz is when there is a running of the breath, as the letter is articulated from its articulation point. And rakhawa is what? When there's running of the sound. So many times, the letters that have their breath running, the sound will also run. Because when the breath is running, the sound will also run, except for the kaf and the ta, and we will explain those further, bi'idhnillah. So, we'll take examples. We'll take examples, inshallah, of starting with the letters of al-shidda. That is ajid, cotton bucket. So again, it's the same. We've given some examples before. Hamza, as-sama. The breath is not running, so that makes it jar. The sound is not running, that makes it shidda. As-sama is just, the sound is not running. Al-mu'minun, so the sound is not running, so it is shidda. The jim, al-hajj. Al-hajj, you can say, but I'm saying j, that's because of qalqala. But without qalqala, it's al-hajj. So the sound is not running. Al-hajj, it stops, it's cut out completely. Al-hajj, so the sound doesn't run and the breath does not run. But we're talking of shidda here, that's relating to the sound. For the dal, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Al-ahad, which is how, because we put a qalqala, but the sound doesn't run. Without the qalqala, it's قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. And we will talk about qalqala later, inshallah. Ajid cotton bucket for the qaf. So you say min sharri ma khalaq, min sharri ma khalaq, 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 khalaq. So we put a qalqala, but you can see that the sound doesn't run. It doesn't continue. And when we go to al-rakhawa, we'll see how the sound runs. The ta, we said, bil qisto, bil qisto, bil. So without the qalqala is bil qist. It's completely imprisoned. No sound at that point of articulating it and stopping it. Bil qist. The ba, tabbat, tabbat. So the sound doesn't run. Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. Then we put a qalqala on it. Otherwise, there is no sound. The sound is cut off. It's complete because it is harf shidda. It is completely reliant on that articulation point. And then the kaf, we said, alam nashrah laka sadrak, laka sadrak, sadrak, without the hams, sadrak, it's completely cut off. And then again, the ta, tabbat, tabbat yada. Okay, so what's this that is coming out? That is the hams. Tabbat yada. So that's not the sound, it is the breath. So as for the ta, the breath doesn't run. So if we did not apply the hams, it will be tabbat, tabbat, tabbat. So we apply the hams, and that's why you have this tabbat, and that is the breath that comes out. So these are hurufu shidda. So bi'idhnillah, we will then take, in the next lesson, we will continue from hurufu rakhawa, and we will demonstrate bi'idhnillah how the sound runs when the letter is articulated, and then we will take the rest of the characteristics. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.